Hey guys, and welcome back to another Actionscript 3 game design video tutorial. Sorry it's been a really long time since I've actually gotten around to getting these things done. Things have just been absolutely chaotic, but I do apologize. I'm back and we're going to finish off this game definitely once and for all. So where we left off last time was we got a player to shoot missiles and create explosions when a missile hit a player clip, and that's working really well. So what we need to do now is actually create some score and an ammo counter. So that's what we're going to be doing in this tutorial. So first thing I'm going to do is use the text tool and basically just drag out a text box which is going to hold our score. And I'm just going to type in score and then XX, and that's just going to be a little placeholder for our score. So I'm just going to move that in the top left corner and change its alignment to the left. And we're going to change the static text over to dynamic text because we want to update this via our code. And I'm going to give it an instance name of score text so we can refer to it in our script. Now whenever we use a custom font, we need to embed our fonts, especially when we're using dynamic text. So I'm going to click on embed and then just tick the last four boxes for uppercase, lowercase, numerals, and punctuation. And we can give it a font name as well, based on a font, but I'm just going to call this my font. Cool. So now I'm going to drag that text field over to the right with Alt and clicking and dragging. That just creates a clone. I'm going to align this to the right, and I'm going to call this text field ammo text. Oops, ammo text. Okay, I'm just going to change the name of it as well. So instead of score, it's going to be ammo. So that's our display objects done. Now let's head over to our code and create references to those two text fields. So I'm going to set up two private variables here, which are going to reference our text fields on the stage. So I'm going to say private var score text. That's going to be data typed to a text field. And I'm going to set up another private var, and this one's going to be our ammo text. That's also going to be a text field. Okay, so those two are set up. Now what we need to do is set up a couple of variables which are actually going to hold the values of what we need to put into those two text fields. So I'm going to set up another private variable, and this is going to be a number variable. So I'm going to type n and score, and that's going to be data typed to a number, and that's going to hold score. I'll set up another one for ammo. That's also going to be a number, and that's going to hold how many missiles we start off with. So that's all done. Now we need to actually initialize those two variables to begin the game. And I'm going to do that just under initialization for our arrays. So I'm going to set n score to equal 0, and then I'm going to set n ammo to equal 0 as well. No, to equal 20. Sorry, we want to start off with 20 missiles. So that's set up. We've got our variables stored, but now we need to create a function to actually display those variables. So just after our constructor function, I'm going to set up a new private function and type in private function, and this is going to be update score and text. So we're not passing anything, we're not going to return anything, so we'll leave it as void. And the only thing we need to do in here is update our score text field. So I'm going to type score text dot text, and I'm going to make that equal to score with a colon, and then I'm going to add on our score variable, which is nscore. Cool, that's done. So now we need to call this function just after we've initialized the values, otherwise our score text won't actually update. So probably do that after we initialize the values here, just above the stage event listeners. So we'll just call update score text. So save that and give it a test with Control Enter. And you can see we've got a problem. Cannot create property score text on first game. Okay, so whenever you run into a problem like this, the Flash problems are kind of vague. They don't really give you a really exact area on where to look. So if this ever happens to you, go over to File, Publish Settings, click on your Swift container, and then tick Permit Debugging down the bottom and press OK. So test this game again, and if you look at the errors down the bottom now, you can see we've still got the same error, but now we get a line number as to where the problem is. So this is on line 30. So head over to Flash Develop and look up line 30, which, okay, in this case hasn't given us anything overly useful. But okay, so the problem we have here is score text and ammo text. They're both text fields on the stage, and they should be set to public, just like we set our MC player. So my bad. I'm just going to change those over to public instead of private. We'll save that and test again, and now we see our score is set to 0. So now let's set up our ammo function as well. I'm going to head back over to Flash Develop, and just after score text, I'm going to set up another private function for update ammo text. Okay, and in here all we're going to do is set ammo text.text to equal ammo plus n ammo. Cool, that'll do. And we've got to remember to call that function just after we initialize, so we're going to update our ammo text here. Okay, so we've got our score at 0, our ammo at 20, so that's working well. But now we need to find points in our code where we can increase our score by 1 and decrease our ammo. So we've got to find the most logical points to put those in. So typically with the score, we want our score to go up when we shoot a missile and the missile connects with an enemy. So basically when that explosion happens, where we created the explosion, just like last time, we're going to increase our score by 1 there. So let's start off with that. I'm going to go over to my outline panel and go down until we find check missiles hits enemy. So that seems like the most logical point to put a score increasing by 1. When our current missile hits our current enemy, we create an explosion, we get rid of the enemy, we get rid of the missile, and let's also increase our score by 1. So right down the bottom, I'm going to say add 1 to our score. So I'm going to say end score and add 1 to whatever the current value is, and we can do that with shorthand ++. And then lastly, we need to run update score text, so we update the value in there. So let's save this and give it another test. And now when we shoot a missile, you can see when the missile connects, we're getting a score go up by 1. So that's working. Now let's get the ammo counter to go down. So the most logical place to put the ammo going down would be when we fire a missile. But I'm not actually going to put the code in here. I'm going to do it just above, because we need to test if we actually have enough missiles and then fire a missile. So I'll leave the fire missile function alone, and just up here where our key code equals 32, when our spacebar gets released and we tell it to fire a missile, we're going to put a check in here. oh actually not yet, we'll just put an ammo and we'll -1 from the current value, and then we'll update our ammo text. So let's save this and give it a test, and you can see here when we fire a missile our ammo counter is going down, but you'll notice a small problem when we get to the end. Yeah, we're kind of going into the negatives now, and we shouldn't be doing that. So we need to put a check in there to see if the player actually has missiles left, and then go ahead and fire a missile. So on the next line I'm gonna type test if the player has a missile left to fire. So we'll do an if statement to see if n ammo is greater than 0, and if it is, then go ahead and fire a missile. So I'll just cut that out and put it in here, fix up the tabs, and this will work, but we'll have one more small little problem. And you can see here I'm firing missiles, we get to 0. Now I'm still hitting spacebar and our ammo count is going down, but at least we're not firing any more missiles. So we just got to fix one more thing with the updating of our ammo. And what we can do here is head over to Flash Develop again, and we'll put the logic which takes away 1 from our ammo and updates our text in the if statement as well. So I'll just paste that in here, and I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. There we go. So if our ammo counter is greater than 0, take 1 away and then update our text. So this is not going to run if our ammo counter is at 0 or 1. So yeah, we'll just leave that as it is, and that should be fine. So we'll give it another test, and hitting spacebar. Okay, keep hitting the spacebar, and you can see our ammo is not going down, and we're not actually firing any more missiles because we've used up all the missiles we have in our counter. So that's pretty much working as we want. And I think that'll be it for this tutorial. In the next one, what we might do is set up an endgame screen. So when we use up all our missiles, we have a screen that shows up that says game over, and we might actually set up a start screen as well. So instead of just jumping straight into the game, it'll have a splash screen that says click here to start the game, and then our enemies start coming on, and we can basically start shooting them up from there. So yeah, apologies about the wait again, but hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time.